Clinch Gear Radio out in Marietta, California at the Team Quest gym with our pal Dan Henderson. Hey, Danny, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. How you doing?
Good. Been a while since we've seen you. So first, congratulations on the Feijao fight. Let me ask you about that fight, and then we'll get to the elephant in the room. Anything in that Feijao fight surprise you?
Feijao, when I fought Feijao?
Yeah. Anything about that fight that surprised you?
No, I mean, I knew that he hits hard. I know that he throws them wide, and he hit me with a nice wide, hard punch. So it knocked me a little silly. But, you know, I don't know. I guess I felt like he was going to be a little stronger. And I felt like I powered right through most everything he had. So, you know, I don't know. I didn't notice him being strong at all. But, you know, I think that a lot of that's just the styles that we had in my positioning.
It seemed like after the knockdown, you were able to control the tempo for the rest of the round. Is that your experience, his inexperience? What do you attribute that to?
Well, I mean, I don't think he had me hurt too bad. I mean, he dazed me for sure, knocked me down. Mm-hmm. But, you know, with me being able to get the takedown right away, clear my head, you know, it's back to zero right then. I mean, I was just fine at that point. So, you know, and still was going to push the pace and make sure I won each round. I knew I had a little ground to make up being knocked down like that, but felt like I landed some good shots and hit him pretty hard a few times. Controlled him on the ground as well. You're
a low-key guy, but man, that was as emotional as we've seen you. Looking back on that night, what's it mean to be the champion again?
You know, it does mean a lot. You know, but to fight someone like Feijao as big and strong and hard-hitting as he is, and what he's been doing in his last few fights to people, and to beat him the way I did, you know, it felt great.
So 7 days later, you're getting ready to come on Clinch Gear Radio, and 10 minutes before, we find out of nowhere Strikeforce has been sold to Zuffa and the UFC. Now that you've had a little bit of time for the dust to settle, what's your feeling on the sale? Did it catch you off guard?
Oh, it definitely caught me off guard. I think it caught a lot of people off guard. It happened fairly quickly, but, you know, and was kept fairly quiet. You know, a lot of people, even inside Strikeforce, did not know that it was happening. So, you know, I think, I don't know what's going to happen. I think it could be a good thing for me personally, but, and obviously with the marketing the UFC has, it's going to really pick Strikeforce up to another level as well. But, you know, for the younger up-and-comer guys that are trying to get paid more money, I don't know how good that is for them. So we'll see what happens.
I don't know how many people know, but you were at the John Jones Shogun fight. For you, as you're walking into that arena with the history between you and the UFC, as you're walking in there, what was that feeling like, and how were you received by the Zuffa people?
You know, I've never had any. I don't burn bridges, and I never had any bad things to say about them. You know, with Dana, and I've always been, you know, fairly good relationship with Dana, joking around, but haven't talked to him much, obviously, since we were in opposite companies, and I just was busy with my stuff, and he was busy. So, yeah, it was back to calling him fat again, giving the fat jokes, and you know, it's. But the fights, I don't think, you know, they haven't been as nearly as exciting as Strikeforce fights, and I don't know why. And you know, for some reason, everybody goes out there to really protect their own in Strikeforce and not letting anybody take anything from them, rather than trying to play it safe in the UFC. So, you know, it's yeah, I don't know what's causing that.
Let's go to this past Saturday night. It was supposed to be a battle for the #1 contender, Mike Kyle versus Gegard Mousasi. Winner gets a shot at your belt. When you heard Mike Kyle was out of that fight, what was your reaction?
Yeah, I don't know.
You know Mike Kyle a little bit, right?
Yeah, Mike Kyle's a good guy. He's tough, you know. And I think the Mousasi that we saw the other night, Mike Kyle probably would have knocked out or would have beat. He just didn't look real sharp at all. You know, and not taking it away from Jardine. Jardine's a tough dude. Took a lot of punches though, and you know, hit him a few times. Hit Musashi a few times too, but you know, really what made it close was him getting some takedowns.
So Mike Howell's out with a broken hand. Musashi and Jardine fight to a draw. That means we need to find a fight for Hendo, and the fight that seems to be talked about more and more as time goes by is a super fight with Fedor. How did this all get started, the talk between the Dan Henderson-Fedor fight?
I have no idea. I think when I first signed with Strikeforce, the media, you know, with at the time the lack of big names in Strikeforce, obviously Fedor and myself were the biggest names there, and media asked about if I'd want to fight him then, and you know, I'm okay to fight anybody, and a legend like Fedor, it'd be an honor to fight him. That's what I said then, and that's what I would say now, and I think, you know, with him getting outsized and beat by Giant Silva, a lot of people, you know, are talking about maybe having him move down to 205, but I don't think he would ever do that either, and you know, I guess the next best option would be someone like myself that's been in the sport a long time, like him, and to have a big super matchup.
And he's an icon in this sport, Dan. We've asked you about it on the radio show, whether the U.S. fans really truly have a grasp for what he has meant to this sport, because so much of it took place overseas. For you, though, is it different because of what he's meant to the sport? Would there be a little bit more, I don't know, energy, excitement for you? Then that's not just another fight. That's Fedor.
Yeah, I mean, that's a huge fight for anybody, and
yeah.
You know, for someone like me, like I said, it'd be an honor to fight him, and you know, and to go out there and really test myself against someone that's done what he's done in this sport. You know, that's going to be fun for me, and a big challenge, and you know me, I love those challenges.
He's a different 225, 230 than Feijao, where Feijao comes in and looks like he just walked off an NFL field. Fedor's a different 230. Positives and negatives for your style of fighting against a guy with Fedor's body type, if you will.
You know, I don't think it's a body type that's the problem. It's, you know, he's a lot quicker with his hands. He doesn't kick much, so I don't have to worry about that. Feijao kicked like a mule, but you know, I think it's his hips. He's, you know, in the clinch and in tight, he's going to have some good hips. He's got good balance. It's going to be harder to get on the ground, and he's more dangerous on his feet. You know, he's knocked a lot of guys out, and you know, it's going to be interesting. And he's got some really good submissions. So,
if we had $5 and we were in Vegas right now, and I said, Danny, we've got two choices: Fedor fight coming up sooner or later. Where are you going with that $5?
You mean against me?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Not as soon as I'd like. I would probably put it on sooner, but I don't know. That's up to Scott Coker and the rest of the Strikeforce / Zuffa people to determine. And you know, like I said, it'd be an honor to fight him. And if I did fight him, there would be no catch weight. I don't do those at all. It's if I'm going to fight him at his weight, I'm going to fight him at his weight.
Yeah, you've never had. I mean, we asked you. We came up in tape before Feijao, and I remember asking you about the size differential, and you've said I've done it my entire career. So no catch weight for Fedor. Just so we're clear, right now, nothing new to report as we tape this, but no catch weight. But in your eyes, hopefully sooner than later.
Yeah, if for some reason this fight does happen, I wouldn't take the fight if it was at a catch weight.
What'd you make of the Showtime poll the other night, where 96% of the fans said they'd love to see super fights between UFC fighters and Strikeforce fighters?
I think that's a great idea, and that's something that I'm sure that the UFC's thought about when they purchased Strikeforce, but I really think to really capitalize on that and to really build a lot of interest, they need to build Strikeforce up first and build some of the guys in there and you know, get some marketing behind Strikeforce. really make those fights huge.
Final question. What'd you take away from the Strikeforce card close to your hometown down in San Diego this past weekend? What'd you take away from the performance of Nick Diaz, Shinya Aoki, and Gil Melendez?
Great fights. You know, there were some great fights. All those guys go out there to fight. You know, nobody goes out there to just get a little win, but they go out there they put it on the line, they fight. They're not afraid to get hit. They go out there and try to finish fights, and that's what happened.
Well, Danny, congratulations on the Feijao win. Congratulations on being light heavyweight champion. And as always, thanks for the time. Hopefully we'll do it again when the Fedor fight actually becomes official.
Thank you. Appreciate it.